I'm Mr. MegaManFan, and if you like this video, please subscribe, leave a thumbs up, and share your comments below. Today we are looking at Mega Man The Wily Wars Collector's Edition. Now you're probably not surprised that a guy named Mr. MegaManFan would have pre-ordered this from Retrobit Publishing, but there were a few other ways to play this before this edition came out. You could buy a European import, which was stupidly expensive. You could buy a Japanese import, which was even more stupidly expensive. Or you could get a reproduction made, which was probably based on the European edition and would have had the same timing issues because it's PAL and not NTSC as buying that European import. Or you could play a ROM of it, which would most likely have the same problems unless you had the Japanese ROM, which wouldn't be in English. Well, now with this set, they've finally addressed all of those issues. This was an affordable reprint at, I think, $60, maybe $70 with shipping, compared to the hundreds you'd spend to get it any other way. And this is NTSC, but North American localized. So the timing is right. Everything will be smooth. Bug fixes have been applied where necessary. And this is a deluxe premium set that comes with a whole lot of extras, like these trading cards, which I'm wondering whether or not they are randomized per pack, because you obviously aren't getting a full set of the Robot Masters from Mega Man 1, 2, or 3. You're getting an assorted collection here, so I feel like each one of these card packs must come with a different set. I haven't watched any unboxing videos before mine, so I can't compare, but once I upload this, I'll take a look and see what cards other people got who have unboxed their set. And if that's the case, hopefully they sell these packs individually so that you could eventually get a full set of all the trading cards. But why do I get the feeling they're probably not doing that because they wanted you to buy more than one collector's edition? Well, good luck doing that now, because it's completely sold out everywhere. The first run sold out. Retrobit released the leftover stock they had when these shipped out, and that sold out within minutes too. So if you weren't Fleet of Finger, there's nothing you can do except hope for another print run. And who knows, with all the cargo delays, how long that would take to get here, because this one took well over 6 months, almost a year, before people finally got them. So even if they do another run, you may not get it for a long time. So sorry about that. Anyway, let's continue the unboxing here. This is what the outer sleeve looks like once you pull it away from the boxed collector's edition. It's transparent, so you can see robot schematics. I almost wanted to say blueprints, but I don't know. There's just pictures of Mega Man internal, wiring and all, and you can see those through the transparent cover. When they're surrounding the box, they just look like part of the box. Inside the fold, you've got artwork that has a reflective surface on it showing all of the different Robot Masters that you're going to fight. And tucked away in the front cover are the lenticular cards. And if you don't know the word lenticular, that just means that it shows a different pose each time you turn it in the light. They used to make baseball cards that were like that when I was a little kid, called Sports Flicks, where you could turn them, and each way you turned them, they would display a different pose of the player, like batting or pitching. And these are exactly the same. You turn them in the light and you see different poses for all of the different ones that are included. And again, I wonder whether or not these lenticular cards are randomized or if everybody got the same set. For me, I got Mega Man and, of course, Proto Man, so can't complain when those are the first two ones in the pack. And incidentally, with these lenticular cards, you can change which one displays in the front of the box. So if you want different front cover artwork, customize it and pick whichever one you like to display. Next one, we've got Metal Man, who has one of the sweetest weapons in the first 3 games. The Metal Blade is very useful because it's omnidirectional. You can fire it in all 8 directions. Cutman, who is my recommended choice as the first boss to defeat in Mega Man 1. You can do it without having any of the other weapons to beat him with. And Man, who is one of the hardest stages to clear in Mega Man 1. So that's the set of lenticular cards that I got in my box, but we shall move on from that to the rest of what's inside Mega Man The Wily Wars. We gotta open this flap here and pull out the actual Sega Genesis style box. And hidden behind that box was a fold-out poster, which I'm not going to fold out all of the way. I'm just going to show you the folds of it here, and then I will tuck it back into the box for safekeeping. I suppose that's why you would buy 2 copies, not just to get all of the trading cards, but if you actually wanted to unfold and display one of the posters. This is a very nice Sega Genesis style box. It looks and feels the way an original Sega Genesis box would, and it even has the hanging tab on the top if you were going to put it in a retail shelf display. The cartridge is beautiful. It's this aqua blue with sparkles speckled through the plastic. And on the back, the usual warnings: do not immerse it in liquids, do not expose it to heat, put it back in the box when not in use, and a nice photo of Mega Man standing on top of Rush on the back. So, what else do we have inside the Sega Genesis plastic clamshell? We've got a manual that's in both Japanese and English, which I think is a really nice touch considering it will work NTSC in either Japan or the United States, so whoever bought it has instructions for their territory. And we've also got an envelope that says "Power Up." And what's inside that envelope? Why, a certificate of authenticity telling you what number your edition is. Now, I thought I got in on the Retrobit publishing batch pretty early, but maybe not as early as I thought, because I looked at this number and it said 19,013 out of 20,000. So maybe they were selling really fast the day they went on sale, if that's the number I got. Good Lord, I might have missed out on it entirely if I hadn't ordered it when I did. And there's a sticker book behind the certificate of authenticity. Not much to say about that, really, just a selection of various stickers that, for obvious reasons, I'm not going to peel off and stick to anything. So let's get to the actual game. This is, if you will, the money shot, because you're saving at least a couple of $100 with this edition over an import version that, as noted, would either be in PAL and have timing issues for being 50 hertz instead of 60 hertz, or you're getting the Japanese edition, which would have the same timing, but would be all in Japanese instead of English. So this way, with this collector's edition of Mega Man The Wily Wars, you are getting the best of both worlds. Now, I realize that once this cartridge gets unboxed by a lot of people and somebody dumps this ROM, owning it might not be a necessity anymore, because people could play the localized Japanese version with the bug fixes applied and not have to buy this. But I'm Mr. MegaManFan, so I was going to buy this no matter what. Even though I have a repro, and even though I have an import, I wanted the ultimate edition. And for my money, this really is, especially at the affordable price which it was offered. The only ways this could have been any better would be if it came with a soundtrack on CD and a Bandcamp download code or a digital download code of some kind to go with the CD. Not really necessary, but since the Genesis versions of the songs are arranged a little differently than the original NES counterparts, it wouldn't have been a bad thing to have had the soundtrack for Mega Man 1, 2, and 3, plus the Wily Tower that you unlock when you beat all 3 of the original Mega Man games, or at least the 3 original games in their rearranged versions that you can play here. But for being rearranged, they play basically the same. In fact, I call it slightly better because you can actually use the A button to cycle through whichever weapon you're using. And on the original NES, you had to hit start, select a weapon, and then hit start again. So maybe slightly more convenient to play it with the extra button. But using B and C to jump and shoot feels just as natural as using A and B on the NES controller. And I would say that the level design is one-to-one the same as the original NES games. The enemy placements are all where you would expect them to be. They react the way you would expect them to react. The level layouts have not changed. If you've got the timing down for playing the NES version, your timing is going to work on the Genesis version. Very, very minute differences, if any. I did just realize now as I was talking, there was one other way to play Mega Man The Wily Wars, and that was if you bought the Sega Genesis Mini. But that was not the collector's edition with whatever bug fixes they applied, so I imagine those two ROMs are slightly different, but I suppose somebody would have to dump the ROM from the Genesis Mini and then dump the ROM from this and then compare it, and then compare the two of those to the PAL edition and the original Japanese edition of the Wily Wars. I'm sure there are differences between all of them, but this is supposed to be the ultimate edition of the Wily Wars, as previously noted. So let's go ahead and take out Cutman. As I noted when looking at the trading cards, he's one of the Robot Masters you can defeat without having any other Robot Master's weapon. He's got a pattern, and it's the same in the NES version as the Genesis version. If you fire shots at him, he'll jump around for a bit, then he'll throw his weapon. If you time it right, you can leap over his weapon and he'll miss you completely, and then you can keep blasting him while he resets. I'm not doing it very well on this first try, and I came in with less than full health because I was speed running my way to the boss fight and not really stopping and being careful in any way. So I'm not going to win on this first try, and I know it. I don't have the timing down, and I don't have enough health to just fudge my way through it. I came pretty close, but close is only good in horseshoes and hand grenades, so I'm going to have to do this fight a second time, which is a little easier since all I've got to do is take out these turrets at the top and the bottom and not have to worry about other enemies hitting me as I make my way to Cutman. Incidentally, this is one of the things that I actually really like about Mega Man 1 that they dropped from the other games. The scoring, I could give or take. You don't really need to keep score when you're playing a Mega Man game, but the lead up to the bosses, as opposed to just going right into their room without having to go through any kind of tunnel or layout before you get to their lair, I thought that was actually a really cool part of the original Mega Man. Why they dropped it, I understand, because you've already cleared a hard level. You shouldn't have to clear any more enemy placements or dodge any electrical bolts when you're finally to the boss. I get it, but at the same time, it feels like it lost a little of the character when they dropped that idea and just made it an empty room and then a gate, and you open the gate and there you are. But anyway, as you can see, the strategy with Cutman still remains: shoot him, leap over his cut blade, and then shoot him again. And if you've got that timing down, you can defeat him without any other Robot Master's weapon, and then you can use your progression to use Cutman's weapon against the one who's most vulnerable to it, and so on and so forth. I'm Mr. MegaManFan. I hope you've enjoyed this unboxing and testing of the Wily Wars for Sega Genesis from Retrobit Publishing. Unfortunately, now completely sold out everywhere, except on eBay, where I'm sure some greedy people have marked it up to double or triple the original price to try to make a profit from it. So in that case, if you do play a ROM that somebody dumped of this, I certainly don't blame you for it. If I didn't have this physical edition of it, that's probably what I would have to do myself. Or I'd just play the Sega Genesis Mini version, which is more affordable and comes with a whole lot of other games to boot. Thanks for watching. See you again for another episode of Genesis Does in another week.
Genesis does. Genesis does. Genesis. Nintendo.